All right. Hey guys, back again with another video here. This time might be just audio only. I might have something playing in the background. I'm not too sure yet. Still trying to figure this out. Still trying to figure out where I want to go direction wise. I keep thinking of different things, and yeah, I'm just stuck in this kind of analysis paralysis phase of kind of figuring things out. So I'm constantly trying to change things up, but to the point where I'm not actually doing anything. So I'm going to try something more, a little bit low effort here, something that's more easily done. Maybe have some kind of either gameplay footage in the background, something I can do, on the go, something that's more easy, because um, it's kind of difficult to fit my schedule with a lot of this stuff here, filming, recording gameplay, editing the videos. Especially when I'm also learning as I go. I'm watching YouTube videos on how to do X and Y, but to put it all together at the end result, it does take some time. But I am getting more proficient and better at it with the all the videos that I'm making, but not actually putting out. So there are things in the pipeline. It's just waiting for the right time to kind of release it. Not trying to perfect things too much, but that's just how it goes. You want to make things perfect, but in the end, sometimes it really might not matter because your first stuff that you post might not be the greatest, and I'm okay with that. I understand that. I just want to start just putting things out. So I kind of want to do like little maybe short form audio segments here like this, throughout the week, maybe just to kind of go over some things that have happened, maybe even talk about some stuff about current events and family, maybe some drama. I don't know, I'm just trying to figure this out, but for now I just want to start this kind of discussion off with something that I've been kind of dealing with here. I really noticed this becoming an issue, but I've been thinking about it, giving it some thought, and I come to a conclusion. um Conclusion being that when it comes to me smoking weed and everything, I'm discovering I kind of have an unhealthy relationship with it. I'm kind of going down a bad path with the weed. I know a lot of people say that it's not addictive. It's not something that you'll be fiending for. It's something that you can kind of quit cold turkey. And to an extent, yeah, that is true. In my experience with weed, my little rundown, I've been smoking weed since, I was about 18, 17 years old. 17, yeah, I started when I was 17. So 17 years old all the way till now. I'm now 29. I'm gonna be 29. So what is that, about 11 years, almost 12 years I was smoking weed. And through all that time, I've seen myself, go through specific phases of, smoking on the weekends, as a little escape, a little some fucking respite from life. But gradually, slowly, it became more of a daily routine. It became more habitual. And that's the thing with weed and anything I consider smoking, because smoking in general is a habit. Once you form a habit is hard to break. Usually they say you need to break a habit with another habit. And I have a whole list of things that I have on that habit list. I do want to stop. One of them biting my nails. I don't know how many of you do that as well. For me, it's like a nervous, anxious thing. So my nails are constantly chewed to the nub. And my other habit here would be smoking. And back in the day, back in 2014, things were a lot simpler. For me, my experience with getting weed, it was back in the time where it wasn't really legal in California. Sure, medicinally, yes. If you had a marijuana card, you were good. But for those who didn't, who bought it off the street, I usually found a lot of my weed on Facebook Marketplace. Back in the old days where fucking people are selling all kinds of shit, drugs of all kinds. And, I usually browse the fucking pages and found myself, some reliable people that I would eventually, get my weed from exclusively. And there was one guy here that, I did meet him on Facebook Marketplace, and he's been my plug for years now. So many. I think about out of the 12 years, he's probably been my plug for about 8 of them. And this dude, pretty cool guy, pretty chill dude. I even put two of my, one of my cousins and one of my friends onto him, so they get exclusively from him. So beneficial. He was helping me out with some weed and fucking wax, and I would help him out by recommending clients. I just tell them, hey, just tell them Aaron sent me, and just to let them know that they're good, because I was a reliable customer. I was there every week buying at least $120 worth of weed and wax on the weekly basis. So we were very familiar. But anyway, it wouldn't be until I met him, that guy specifically, where I would start, smoking more habitually. There would be a time when I would get into dabbing, because before wax and everything, I was exclusively weed, smoking blunts. Man, that was a time. And I'll tell you right now, nothing really, in my mind, replaces a blunt. I know it's tobacco, a lot of horrible, harmful chemicals in it, but I did like the feeling of the tobacco high with the weed high. It was a nice combination that I'd say if you really wanted to chill, you really wanted to relax, smoke a blunt. That's one of my recommendations there, but not so much so because it is nicotine, tobacco, harmful. Smoke at your own risk. Just know what you're doing, what you're putting into your body, and be responsible there. But anyway, I would be constantly smoking blunts. I went from smoking maybe 4 blunts on the weekend to smoking only 10 to 14 blunts, because on a weekly basis I would be visiting that particular dealer and buying about I would say half an ounce at a time. So I was buying half an ounce. I was going through 2 ounces of weed a month. And obviously weed isn't cheap, especially at those or back then. At that time, it wasn't so readily available as it is now. We have little pop-up shops, pop-up little venues where they have all bunch of vendors from all around California that come to sell their weed, wax, and everything else. And it would be around this time when I started switching to wax and started to dab. Mind you, for those of you who don't know, dabbing is, like, I would say, an elevated form of smoking weed. It's more or less just smoking the pure THC aspect of it. I know there's a lot more stuff that goes into it, including terpenes and different flavor profiles, different consistencies, different methods of making it for better potencies of flavor combinations. There's a whole science of wax in general. And I got into it when it was just the shatter being wax that came in a little wax paper, that looked like, how would I say, like a piece of maybe Jolly Rancher. How it's very clear. Sometimes this would be either super yellow or a nice golden honey color. But anyway, called Shatter, and I'd love that. Shatter was amazing. I don't know where to get it nowadays. I think they don't make it anymore, from my experience. But anyway, it was nice. Break off a piece, throw it a little dab, take a hit. It was perfect, easily to dose yourself, and easy to do. But I would start getting into wax because I found it to be a lot cheaper and a lot more cost effective. I felt like it got me higher, and I felt like it elevated a lot of other stuff there. But mind you, when you do smoke a lot of weed, there is a thing called tolerance, your weed tolerance, and essentially, this goes for any other drug, or I don't consider weed a drug. I think it is scheduled, but anyway, yeah. So I would be getting 3 grams of wax. At the time was pretty cheap. He had a deal going on, 3 for $50 or 3 for $60. I think it was 3 for $60 at the time. But anyway, I'd be getting some of that, fucking grams of wax and some weed. Because to be honest, when you do dab, it does give you a different kind of high. It does hit you a lot faster, a lot sooner. Has a variety of different tastes. But, it's not weed. It's not the grass. It's not the tree. And I explain it like this to those who can't really, imagine it or don't really understand what I'm talking about. It's like this, think of it as a brand of soda. You got, your name brands, Pepsi, Coca-Cola, but then you got your store brands. Like you got your Sam's Cola, you got your Dr. Thunder, fucking Mountain Magic, whatever those weird funky soda names. Yeah, for me, wax is one of those off brands, or I would even consider it, depending on the type, like a diet soda. Obviously diets are supposed to be healthier, better versions, but they're not. But anyway, it's like a diet soda. There's the real, true ice cold Pepsi, that is weed. You smoke it, you first drink it, that first hit/taste is just magical, mouth watering and all. But when you dab, it feels like you do get the high, but it's not satisfying. It's weird. I can't explain it. Maybe I'm just not really that much into dabbing. But anyway, yeah. So, but the main thing with that is it now became more easily accessible to, bring out my dab rig and just light up a dab before I do anything. And it became very habitual. I was smoking every day, pretty much any chance that I got. Nothing stopped me. If I was at work, my breaks, I'd go take a dab, come back in, I'm all right. Then my lunch times, used to work at a place where they gave me an hour lunch, and down the road was a liquor store where had a pretty good sized parking lot in which I would go drive, pull up, park, take a fucking 3 or 4 dabs, get really high, till I got the munchies, and I'd go eat my lunch and then take a 30-minute nap to kind of mellow out. I got to that point where I couldn't be at work without it, and that was an issue, and it became, even worse when the introduction of all these wax pens. Now you didn't need the rig. All you needed was a battery and a cartridge, and now all of a sudden you can get high anywhere discreetly, and I did just that. Now waiting up for my lunches and breaks, to get high now became, I'm just gonna go take my pen, go over to this corner at work and just rip this shit and then just go back to it. Just rinse and repeat. Another 20 minutes later, go get a hit, come back, and then I was done. It was a horrible way to kind of go about things, and looking back on it, I kind of regret it. I really do wish that I did see the harm that it was doing to me. I may not have felt it, when I was high because I felt good, but I would later discover, what dependency was, and it's different from addiction. Dependency, is something that you've become reliant on. It's just something that you've convinced yourself in your head that you need to do this now, you need to do this because of X, because you're feeling Y. And it sucks when you get into that little, I call it the weed hole. It sucks because it's very difficult to get out of it, because when you do end up quitting cold turkey, what comes with it is, not being able to sleep right. I found that, it being very difficult to go to sleep. And not only that, um, for those of you who do smoke weed a lot, quite often, especially before bed, you realize that you really don't dream much. But when you stop smoking weed, you will be introduced to very wild dreams the first couple nights, and yeah, that can be very jarring for those who haven't really had a dream in such a long time. And I know that feeling. I've been there, done that.
And yeah, that's no fun there. One other side effect that I did actually experience personally firsthand was irritability. For me, I was somebody who was very angry of a person at the time, so I used weed to kind of calm myself down, make myself relaxed, and it did just that. Did the job very well, and it had me coming back to it multiple times, which in turn would create the dependency that I'm speaking of. And yeah, so with that in mind, while stopping, you are going to be experiencing brief moments of irritability. Obviously, the thing that kept you calm is no longer accessible to you. You're no longer, doing that. So obviously, that one method of coping is now gone, and so now you really are left with your own devices. Sink or swim, for the most part. There. But yeah, guys, I just want to kind of keep this one short here. I just want to kind of put something out here for the meantime, just to kind of keep this channel going. Yeah, hopefully you guys found this interesting. Please feel free to leave comments, suggestions, mainly about where to go, whether or not you guys like the content. But yeah, this is me, highly interested. Signing off from this one. See you guys in the next one. It's coming up, I swear. See ya.